So once again, good morning to all of you and welcome back to the session of financial management. As we are discussing our first unit of syllabus, okay, that is all about introduction to our financial management. And up to this, we have discussed the few points related to finance, related to management, related to financial management. And in the last session, we are trying to understand the financial management. So up to this, we have discussed what we mean by finance. So finance means management of money. Okay, it's include capital, fund, investment, money, currency, everything. Okay. Management means all the set of activities starting from planning to ends with the control. And finally, the financial. Okay. Then after we have discussed the types of finance, of private finance and public finance. In a private finance, we have personal finance and business finance. So whenever we are discussing the finance, at that time we are discussing about only the business finance in the our subject. Financial management, a definition given by Kushal. Okay, procurements of fund and their effective utilization. In the business, the most popular definition you need to remember. Then after another two definition by Dr. S.N. Maheshwari and by Joseph and Meshi. You need to remember any one definition out of these three definitions. And then after we have discussed the three different decisions of financial management or a scope of financial management: financing decision, investment decision, and dividend decision. And now fourth one is working capital decision, that is in the new financial modern financial management, that is in the new era of financial management. Up to this we have discussed in the last week, and then after we have started the discussion about the objectives of financial management. So up to this, everything is clear, my dear? Yes, everyone. Nirmala, Shakina, Viraj, Aryan, Shreya, Dhruv, Shruti, Drumil, Raj, Mansi, Meet, okay, and rest of all the students. I'm not pronouncing name of all the students. Okay. So now today we try to understand the objectives of financial management. So mainly we have two objectives. The first objective is about profit maximization, and second is about wealth maximization. And I think so. One question I have put in the last session, and you need to answer that question before starting of this discussions. I'm right? And I've put question there as a homework. Yes or no? It may be in the session of in Friday session. Hello, do you remember? I'm not getting any response. याद नहीं है तो बोल दो कि याद नहीं है, याद है तो बोलो कि याद है। मैं इतनी बड़ी क्या बात है? हमें कहाँ किसी को प्रपोज करना है कि यस और नो बोलेगा तो हमें दिक्कत हो जाएगी यार। Yes, guys. At least say yes or no. Okay. लगता है बारिश ज्यादा है आपके यहाँ। Hello, my voice is coming to you, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Viraj. Okay, let me discuss or let me start this discussion. Okay, each and every business having only the one objective. Okay, all the business has started to earn a profit, whether it is Reliance, whether it is Tata, or whether it is Samsung, or whether it is a local business that run by the local person. All the activities, specifically economies activities, are done to earn a profit. Okay, and why the profit is important? Because profit measure the business efficiency and profitability at that particular time. Okay, so that's why we means a business or companies, corporations are mainly focused on profits. So whenever the business was started, at that time the main objective of any business is to earn a profit. Okay, except the government organizations and except the NGOs. These two types of organizations are not working or not functioning or not starting for the profit earning purpose, but they are for the well-being of society. Rest of all the business, rest of all the companies are having a motive to earn a profit. Now, can you tell me which are the ways to get more profit? If I have started a food business in the Rajkot and suppose my place is nearby the KKV hall, a prime location for the Rajkot city. Okay, so how can I get a more income, more profit? Okay, Amit said increasing the sales, very nice. Okay, Shakina said advertising, right? Better advertising and publicity. Now I am asking to you. Yes, again, right? Meet decreasing the expenditure. Okay, he said less cost. Okay, minimize the cost, control the cost. Yes, good going. What about others? You don't know how to increase the profit? It is not necessary that you all they have a different answers. You may have same answer. Okay, no worry about it. But the answer is important. Your class participation is important. Yes, everyone. Now quickly. So mainly there are two ways. Okay. Now listen to me. Only mainly there are two ways. Number one, to earn or to increase the profit. The first way is to increase the revenue, to increase the income. Suppose I am running my food business nearby the KKV wall, and monthly, my income, my revenue is 10 lakhs rupees, and monthly expenditure, monthly cost, all the cost, okay, including the labor and rent and everything, electricity and other expenses. My cost is suppose 6 lakh rupees. So as of now, my profit is 4 lakh rupees. Are you getting my point? Now there are two ways. If I increase the sales, okay, I increase the income. Suppose I have published the fine advertisement in the local newspaper of Gujarat, Rajkot city. Okay, suppose Ajkal. Okay, and due to that advertisement, suppose in the next month, my sales will increase or is increased by 2 lakh rupees. So now my income is 12 lakh rupees instead of 10 lakh rupees. My expenses are remain same, 6 lakh rupees. So again my profit will increase by 2 lakh rupees. Or the second way, I try to reduce the cost. Okay, by adopting the new machineries, by adopting the latest technology, okay, by automation, by doing the proper designing of product and place. So suppose by doing this types of activities, I am able to decrease my cost to 5 lakh rupees. My income remains same 10 lakh rupees, but now my cost is only 5 lakh rupees instead of 6 lakh rupees. So again, my profit will increase by 1 lakh. So are you getting my point? Are we clear about this? To get a more profit, to maximize the profit, we have two ways. Either company need to increase the income, or second ways, either company need to decrease the expenses. Rest of things, okay, for increasing the sales, we have so many ways. To increase the incomes, we have so many ways. Provide a discount, do the advertising, provide a sales, promotions and all the things. And for reducing the expenses cost, we have so many ways. I'm not going for that detailed discussion, okay. But see, whenever we are discussing this point, profit maximizations, we are thinking about only a profit. All the time we are saying that profit, 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 profit. Okay, so from that point of view, this profit maximization having some limitations, and that's why it is known as a narrow approach, because our thinking is limited to profit only. So profit maximization is a traditional approach, plus it's a narrow approach. It's mainly focused on maximizing the profit of the company, and that's why it's have some limitations. Okay, and these three limitations are there. Number one, it's a narrow concept. Number two, it's ignored the risk and time value of money. If you see the previous slide and if you proper listening my discussions, then you notice this. During this 5 to 10 minutes, okay, we have not discussed anything about the risk. We have two types of risk: a business risk or a financial risk. But we are not concerned about this risk. We have not talking about the time value of the money. So this ignore the risk and time value of money. And now let me explain my first example. Okay, somebody said advertising. Okay, Shakina said advertising. So by advertising, if my sales will increase up to 12 lakh rupees, so there is increase in the sales by 2 lakh rupees. That is possible in this month. Can you tell me that we have a surety that in the next month again, if we give the same advertisement, we will get the more sales of 2 lakh rupees? Are you agree? If we do the same advertising in the same newspaper, okay, that there is any guarantee that in the next month we will get the same amount of income or same amount of sales, the same advertisement in the next month, and we get the same figure, additional profit of 2 lakh rupees? It's possible. Suppose you said yes, okay, for initially 2 months it's possible, for 3 months again it's possible, okay, for next 6 months is it possible to get the same sales by doing the same advertising? So what is the here limitation of profit maximization? That whatever we are doing for to increase the profitability for a short run. For a long run, it is not possible to increase the profitability by doing this kind of activities, by doing this kind of functions. So third limitation of profit maximization is it's mainly focused on short-term profitabilities. And here, the profit is not enough to survive in a market, to grow in the market. You need to think about the other aspects. And that's why the new concept called wealth maximization came in the picture. Okay, so let's understand the next pro- objective of financial management, and that is the wealth maximization. Here, wealth maximization means maximizing the present value of the company, and net present value is equal to present value of benefits minus present value of cost. Okay. Before going for the further discussion about the wealth maximizations, let me clear one more thing to you. If you see this slide, okay, in the first, type of business organization, we have sole proprietors. Sole proprietors means a one person bring the capital, one person operate the business, one person is responsible for all the responsibilities and liabilities of the business, and whatever the profit is generated from that business, all the profit is goes to that particular portion. Okay, but suppose, let's take my example. Okay, I have started the food business and I'm only the one person who is handling everything. I bring the capital, I started the business, I'm managing everything, I am operating everything, and whatever the profit and risk and return is, everything is come to me. But suppose now I am not in a position to operate on a single hand. I need more people. So I ask my friends and my colleagues to join my business. So if we have 2 to 200 people in a business, it's called as a partnership firm. Okay, minimum to maximum 200 as per the latest law. Earlier we have 50, okay, but now we have 200. So now this all the partners are responsible for capital, for risk, for return, and for profit, and for business operation, for all the liabilities. But in the form of company organization, we have two different parties. The first parties is called as owners of the company, and second party that is called a management of the company. Can you tell me which are the peoples are considered as a part of management of companies? मैनेजमेंट ऑफ कंपनीज में कौन कौन से पीपल्स आते हैं? Yes, everyone. Okay, managers, employees. No, my dear. Management. People, those are managing the company. Employees are not managing the company. HR manager is not managing the companies. Yes. CEO, good. One. Number two, all the managers, specifically managing director. CEO, managing director, yes, executive manager, and above that, yes, all the departmental manager, but above that, all this, above the management, above the MD, or above the CEO, one particular board is there, that called board of directors, BODs. Okay, so BODs, CFO, Chief Financial Officer, and CEO and the MD are considered as a management of the company. Okay, all managers are there, but they are below this one. So board of directors, CEO, MD, and CFO are managing the company. Now, can you tell me who are the considered as the owner of the company? Shareholders. Which type of shareholders, my dear? Specifically. Okay. the equity shareholders are considered as owners of the company. Why? Why? That is important question here. They are liable for all the risk and uncertainties. Yes. Okay. If you look at to the debenture holders, if you look at to the preference shareholders, they get the fixed return in respect of profit of the company. Okay. If 10% debentures are there, it means debenture holders will get the 10% interest every year, whether the company are earning the profit or suffering the losses in respect of profit or loss. Company need to pay the 10% interest to debenture holders. It means their risk is zero. But in case of equity shareholders, if there is a profit and if the board of directors are agree to distribute this profit among the shareholders as a dividend, then they will get the return. If the companies are suffering losses, they will get the zero return. So that's why the shareholders, specifically equity shareholders, are considered as risk takers, and that's why they are known as a real owner of the company. If I have a one equity share of Tata Motors, then I am the owner of the company. Right now, if I am having one share, okay. And in the second hand, management are mainly focusing on they in a minimum cost management. Okay, they are mainly focusing on more profit. So whenever we are discussing about the wealth maximization, here wealth maximization means maximizing the wealth of the shareholders, specifically equity shareholders. Now the picture is clear. Your wealth maximization means maximizing the wealth of equity shareholders. And there are two ways to maximize the wealth of the equity shareholders. Number one, by declaring the dividend on a daily on a regular basis. Sorry, okay, 10%, 20%, 5%. Okay, so by dividend they can get the more wealth, they can get the more return, and their wealth will increase. And second, that is capital gain. Okay, let me explain this capital gain with one of the best example. Okay, now you're open your now open your Google. Have you opened? Now search. Now search the share price of Reliance Limited in 2014. Share price of in 2014. Can you tell me that figure? You may write here. Okay, 446. Again, go to the Google. Go to the Google and search share price of Reliance Limited today. It's nearby 2115. I'm right? Now find the difference. 2115 minus 446. Just find the difference. 2115 minus 446. Raj, Dhruv, it may up and down, okay, during the uh, operating cycle of stock market, okay, but we take a 2115. So it's nearby 1670 rupees. I'm right. So this difference is called as capital gain. Okay, this difference is called as capital gain. If I have invested this 446 rupees in the Reliance in 2015 or 14, okay, in 2014, now I will get the price that 2115. So this 1169 is considered as capital gain too. So there are two ways to increase the wealth of the shareholders. Number one, if company declares the dividend, the shareholders will get the dividend and they get the money and they will utilize their money for their betterment of life. And second way, if the companies are not declaring the dividend, they are reinvesting the dividend in the business, and by reinvesting, the business will growth and expand. And after the few years, the share price of the companies will increase, and whatever the difference is there, that is considered as a capital gain. And again, that capital gain will help shareholders to increase their wealth. So, are we clear about the wealth maximization? Okay. Good. So ultimately, when the share price of the companies will increase, automatically the market value, the goodwill, or the image brand automatically increase in the market. So it will help not only the shareholders, but it also helpful, or it also increase the wealth of the owners, managers, employees, suppliers, customers, and other interested parties. So this is how the shareholders will receive their wealth. And if the somebody asks that from which point of view you can say that the wealth maximization is superior than the profit maximization. This question may be asked in your mid examination or in a final examinations. Explain how the wealth maximization is superior than the profit maximization. Your answer must be in 4 parts. First, explain the profit maximization. Number 2, explain the limitation of profit maximization. Number 3, explain the wealth maximization. And last, fourth part, explain the superior aspect of wealth maximization. Okay. See, number 1, if you have remembered the limitations of profit maximization, the first one of the limitation of profit maximization is it's not for a long run, it's for a short term. Now the superior aspect of wealth maximization is it's for a long run. Okay, it's not for a short run. Number 2, the object of honest economic welfare. Here we are not focusing on the more profit, but ultimately we are focusing on welfare of all the owners. Here owners means the equity shareholders. Number 2, regular and constant dividend payment to shareholders. Okay, as the company get the more profit, company will declare the dividend. And all the financial decisions are taken with the view to improve the capital appreciation of the share price. Okay, ultimately all the companies are trying to increase their share price in the market by doing the best functions, by doing their best activities. So are we clear? There are 4 superiorities. Number 1, long run. Number 2, economic welfare of owners. Number 3, regular and constant dividend. And number 4, increasing or improving the share price of the company. There are four superiorities of wealth maximization over the profit maximization. Hello everyone, are we clear about this? Okay, moving ahead. In spite of these superiorities and all these concepts, again, again, sorry, I forget these two important points. Okay, all the shareholders and stakeholders always prefer a wealth maximization rather than the profit maximization. They are not interested in short-term profit. They are interested in a long-run profit, specifically a capital profit, capital gain. And this wealth maximization consider the risk and time value of money, both the concept here. And it also consider all the future cash flows, dividend and earning per share. It means it is not only about the present, it's also about the future aspect or future profitability of the company. So these are the superiority of the wealth maximization over the profit maximization. And last point about the objectives of financial management, and that is a criticism or a limitation of financial, a limitation of wealth maximization. Only two limitations are there. Number one, it is considered as a narrow in the sense they always or all the times thinking about the equity shareholders. They are ignoring the other shareholders. From that point of view, it is considered as a narrow. And number two, as are you aware that all the business are using the resources of society, whether the water, whether the air, whether the employees, or the other aspect, even though the money. Okay, so money, employees, or the resources that all the provided by the society. So business need to do something about the society, but as per the wealth maximization, they are mainly focusing on the wealth of the equity shareholders. So they are ignoring the well-being and welfare of society. So there are two limitations of wealth maximization. Number one, it is a narrow concept or narrow from the point of view of other stakeholders, and it is ignoring the well-being or welfare of the society. So objectives of financial management are clear. There are two objectives: profit maximization and wealth maximization. Profit maximization means maximizing the profit. There are two ways: increase the income, reduce the cost. Okay, but this profit maximization is only for a short term. For a long run, we need to think about the other aspect, and that's why profit maximization have three limitations. To remove this limitation, the new objectives come in the picture, and that is wealth maximization. Here wealth maximization is maximizing the wealth of the equity shareholders because they are considered as owners of the company, because they are taking a risk and other risk related aspect of the company. And then after we have discussed the ways to improve the wealth of the shareholders. Number one is declaring the dividend, and number two, capital gain. And then after we have discussed the superiority of the wealth maximization, and lastly we have discussed the limitations of the wealth maximization. So if you all are clear about this one, shall I move for the next one? Yes, everyone, I'm waiting for your reply. Quickly reply. क्या हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं नेक्स्ट टॉपिक के लिए? वत्सल, विधि, श्याम, साहिल, श्रुति, मिहिर, मानसी, जय, हर्षित, हरदेव, ध्रुवित, अभि, देरिया, All of you are clear about this one. Why I'm asking again and again? Because this is one of the most important questions from the first unit. That may be asked in a 8 mark, that may be asked in a 4 marks, or that may be asked in a 1 mark question. That explain wealth maximization, explain profit maximization, list out the objectives, just list out. So this type of questions may be there, okay, in mid 1 or mid 2 or in a final examination. Okay, now we are moving for the next point. Okay, this is not for your some of points that is we need to discuss. Again, this point is not in your syllabus. I am just discussing, or I am just telling to you for your kind information. Okay, financial management and other disciplines or other subjects. So we have 5 to 6 subjects in which the financial management is directly or indirectly related. FMN economics, FMN accounting, FMN mathematics, FMN production management, FMN marketing, FMN HR. Let me explain one or two to clear the idea. Okay, in economics, we have one rule. That rule called demand and supply, or demand and price. Let's take a demand and price. Can you tell me the exact rule of demand and price? If the other factors remain same, this is the fundamental condition of economics. Okay, if the other factors are remain same, and if price of the product will increase, demand will decrease, and if the price of the product will decrease, demand will increase. Are you agree? Quickly guys, now. Okay, it means we have some fundamental rules in economics. Okay, now come to FM. Are you aware that if I invest 5,000 rupees in FD, and if I invest 5,000 rupees in a share market, which option will give me a highest return? FD or share market? दोनों में से किस में ज्यादा रिटर्न मिलेगा? If I invest 5,000 rupees in FD or in a share market? Okay, according to the me, share market. I am agree. You are right. Share market. Okay. Why share market? And is there any risk in a share market? Yes. Okay. So what is a fundamental rule here? What is a fundamental rule in a financial management? High risk, high return. Are you agree? High risk, high return. Low risk, low return. Are you agree with me? This is the fundamental rule or a law of the financial management. Remember the Arshad Mehta, risk hai to isk hai. So now are you connecting the dots between the financial management and economics? Now let's take a second discipline, financial management and accounting. In accounting, what we are doing? We are preparing some tables to know the profit of the business for a particular period. In a financial management, you will learn in the second or third unit that we also are preparing the same tables in a financial management to know the profit or a loss in that particular project. In accounting, we mainly focus on a business. In a financial management, we focus on a project. We focus on investment. We focus on a finance. So the procedure remains same. Accounting, we are preparing tables. Financial management, we are preparing tables. Now see the third one, mathematics. In a mathematics, we have some formulas. just like x plus y is equal to z, or 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Similarly, we have some formulas in the financial management. Okay, formula, for example, for calculating the interest on loan, calculating the interest on debenture, calculating the dividend on equity shareholders. So now, are you clear about these disciplines? It means we have some similarities between these two disciplines. Whether it is economics, whether it is mathematics, whether it is production management, whether it is marketing, or whether it is HR. This all the points are clear, everyone. Again, I am repeating, this is only for your understanding purpose. This point is not the part of your syllabus. Yes, everyone, are we clear? Okay. Now, my question to all of you, according to you, suppose you have completed BBA from the Marwadi University, you have taken admission in MBA, also you have completed the MBA within 2 years, and now you are applying for any company, and your interview process and package and everything is done. Okay, you are getting the salary of 1 lakh rupees per month, okay, from the reputed company, and now you are appointed as a finance manager. You are appointed as a finance manager. Now, can you tell me which are the roles and responsibilities are handled by you as a finance manager? What should you need to do? Can you just list out? One by one. This is our last point for today's session. Okay, your answers are important. Okay, Meet said financial report. Okay, one of the most important function of financial manager is looking to the financial reports. Mehta said management of money. Okay, procurement of money. I called particularly procurement of money. Divyesh said money controlling. It means effective utilization of money. Okay, what about others? What about others? Okay, capital management. Very right. Here, capital management means managing the equity capital, managing the preference capital, and managing the debt capital. Strategies and surviving the competitors. Somehow, my dear, it's not about the competitors, but strategies and their implications for a proper utilization of money. Yes, accounting aspect, specifically when the finance concerned. जस्ट आप इमेजिन करो ना कि आप फाइनेंस मैनेजर हो तो आपको बिजनेस में क्या क्या काम करने होंगे, आपका सुबह से शाम तक का क्या क्या फंक्शनिंग होगा. जस्ट इमेजिन इट. आपने जो आंसर दिए वो सब आंसर सही है, लेकिन वो आंसर्स आपके अंदर से नहीं आ रहे हैं. यस, नाउ द राइट आंसर्स आर कमिंग. The finance manager always think about the investment. If we have some surplus money, तो हम वो देखेंगे ना कि कहाँ पे invest करना. Because now entire money of the company is in your hand. Where to invest? Okay, if we have some projects, which project is more preferable? See, each and every department of the companies depend upon you. Without your signature, nothing can be purchased. If the production department wants a machinery, they need a finance, and that finance is provided by the you. If you sign the order, if you sign the estimate, if you sign the decisions, then and then production department can purchase that particular machinery. Okay, yes, how to make a more money, planning about the money, procurements of fund. Okay, managing the working capital, managing the day-to-day expenses to day-to-day incomes, managing the bank records, maintaining the bank records, checking the, what we call financial statements. So these are the role and responsibilities of financial management. Financial manager. In the next class, we will go for the detailed discussion about the same, and then after we move for the practical aspect of this unit. Okay. If you have anything to share, please share. Otherwise, write your enrollment numbers for attendance purpose, and you are free to go for a tea break. Okay. We will meet in the next class as per the timetable. Thank you so much for joining. Have a nice day. Stay at home, stay safe, and take care.